All right, so let's get started. Welcome to the State Water Board for what is our 10th storm seminar series. Some quick housekeeping. In case of emergency, we exit out the back doors, down the stairs, and out the front doors. Our meeting location is at Cesar Chavez Park. And after the all clear is given, if there is an emergency, we'll meet back in this room. Restrooms are out the back door to my right. You'll come across a hallway. Men's is on this side, women's is on that side. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted afterwards, so you can go back and listen. And we are taking questions for those online at storms@waterboard.ca.gov. And yes, so this is part of the strategy to optimize resource management of stormwater, whose mission is to advance the perspective that stormwater is a valuable resource. We started in 2016, and we're about a year into this. And with that, I'd like to welcome up Sagent and Caltrans to present Protect Every Drop.
Hello, so my name is Anna Serrano. I come from Caltrans Headquarters Division of Environmental Analysis, and we're here to present our current stormwater public education campaign, Protect Every Drop. So we'll go ahead and get started. So a little bit on the background, why this is important to the department. You know, this goes along one of the department goals, which is the safety and health. So this campaign works towards stopping pollution at the source, which results in healthier communities. Caltrans is committed to environmental protection through stormwater pollution prevention. So this is working towards that goal. Another goal is stewardship and efficiency, which is the approach of changing public behavior in order to provide the most cost-efficient way to stop pollution at the source before it leads into the environment or a waterway. So we also have other cost-effective measures, including media added value, social media, and partnership development. Another goal is sustainability, livability, and economy. The traveling public uses and sometimes misuses Caltrans assets while using the state highway system and numerous other Caltrans facilities, including roadside rest areas, park and ride sides, equipment shops, maintenance stations, office space, and vista points. So our efforts are hoping to reduce pollutants on our Caltrans facilities so that water that discharges into major watersheds carry less pollutants and reduce the impact to our waterways. Another Caltrans goal is system performance. So we have developed a steering committee that was formed to provide expertise and guidance for our campaign efforts. Organizational excellence is another goal of the department, and this is helping educate communities via social media, communication, one-on-one meetings and events, and other media outreach channels. And we're using our campaign to provide statewide public outreach efforts. So Caltrans is committed to protecting water quality. Caltrans aims to enhance the knowledge of communities in order to keep our highways and our waterways clean outside of our existing practices that Caltrans already does, like install best management practices. We have several programs that address, collecting trash. We also do regular maintenance efforts within our right-of-way, which include sweeping, encampment cleanups, maintaining existing BMPs, facility maintenance, active inspections, and stormwater training. We also do conduct stormwater monitoring statewide to help with protecting water quality. So here are the goals that we are working towards. Our goal to raise awareness that all pollutants you see on the roadway, such as litter, cigarettes, tire treads, and debris, along with other pollutants that are not visible, like fluids, brake pad dust, sediment, may run off from our roadways and into the storm drains, which flow into our lakes, rivers, and oceans. So repair our infrastructure is a huge effort, and keeping our infrastructure clean is also a struggle. So we want to try to get Californians to also contribute and do their part in keeping our waterways clean. So we want to daylight how every Californian's contribution can make an impact to keeping our water bodies clean with simple actions through education and information sharing for the general public to modify their behaviors. So we also do partner up as part of our campaign to improve water quality and do statewide efforts. So we want to share with upcoming and existing partners our developed messages and graphics from the campaign to assist in their stormwater requirements and objectives.
Hi there, I'm Shelley Kuzno with Sagent, and I'm the lead project manager for the Protect Every Drop campaign, working with Caltrans to execute their public information and education campaign. So you heard some of the background of the desires of Caltrans. Part of the campaign challenge specifically was the previous campaign, you may remember from 10 plus years ago, was Don't Trash California. We were really moving towards a more positive message rather than a don't message. We wanted a what they can do message. So we wanted to take a look at the Don't Trash California, kind of transition that to a Don't Pollute California Waterways, but how do we say that in a positive way? So we were challenged with coming up with a new branding campaign and behavior-focused campaign on keeping our waterways clean. And then another big issue was helping the public understand the connection between the highways and our water bodies. So there's been a lot of education locally across the state on the connection between your streets and having a storm drain inlet in your streets and where it leads. And but there tends to be a larger disconnect with the highway system, especially when you're further inland or you're in an area where there's not a lot of water bodies. If you're near the coast, you associate with the ocean. If you're inland, there's a harder understanding of where that water goes to, and there's the assumption that it's treated 100% of the time. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to. So to kick off the campaign, we developed a couple different campaign messages, and we took those messages to focus groups. We conducted 4 groups, 2 in Southern California and 2 in the Bay Area. We had one group that was primarily English speaking, another group that was primarily Spanish speaking. We introduced multiple concepts to them. We introduced the idea of stormwater protection and cigarette butts and leaky cars and all of our core messages to the focus groups. And then we also kind of dug a little bit deeper in some of our campaign images, which you're going to see here shortly, to get the input from the public on what they would like to see. And I'll explain that as we move further along. But it was really helpful in guiding our messaging, seeing the differences between Southern California and Northern California, the types of water bodies that they're connected to, how they see themselves connected to water, and what kind of messages would resonate with them. Interestingly, the campaign, Protect Every Drop, was the campaign theme that stood out the most between both Northern and Southern California focus groups, although it originally was Love Every Drop. So they did kind of morph because of the focus groups listening to what the public had to say. And so that was kind of the very first step that we took in developing our campaign. We wanted to make sure it resonated with the public. The second step we did was a quantitative study, which is a statistically reliable online public awareness and education survey. And that survey was held in February, and it was right before the campaign kicked off. We wanted to be able to capture the knowledge of the public at that point. Keep in mind, we were in the midst of a drought. The drought emergency hadn't kicked in just yet, but everyone had known that we were 3-4 years into the drought. So kind of the water was on top of people's minds at this time. We just completed a midway study. Just actually a week ago, we were presented all the results from that study. It hasn't been officially released yet, but we'll give you some highlights here briefly. So some of the research is essentially 84% said they did understand that the highways and the waterways were connected. So they understand that they need to keep their vehicles clean, leak-free, maintain them. We believe they answered this positively, intentionally. We still believe that there is somewhat of a disconnect, but the bottom line is that 84% said they did understand there's a connection there. The primary action that really stood out to them was to avoid littering. So that came out at 30%, said yes, if we avoid littering, we understand that that could help keep our waterways clean. And then the next one was we call it kind of a distant second, was leaky vehicles. Something that happened in the focus groups was both with cigarette butts and leaky vehicles. At first they said, well, it's no big deal. It's just one car. Like, what does my one car have anything to do with this? Or what does one cigarette butt flick out my window have anything to do with water quality? And then when we, reinforced to them that there's 50,000 miles of highway in California and millions of people driving on the highways every single day, or cars driving on the highway every day, that they were beginning to understand how the build up and how the accumulation of all those things does make a big environmental mess, basically. But again, we are in the midst of a drought. So, they have to think beyond what was happening at that point. At that point, it hadn't rained in quite some time. We talked to them about the idea of clean highways and clean waterways, and they sensed a strong association between those two things. I know stormwater agencies since the 90s have really educated the public on that. So they're able to kind of make these connections with clean water. And they do understand that water quality does roadways do impact water quality. 19% admitted that they had tossed something out on the side of the highway. So we have some honest people out there. And another 19% said that, yes, it's inevitable that there will be some accidental littering because there's intentional tossing stuff out, which we've all seen and is frustrating. And then there's also if somebody accidentally kicks something out of their car, or if they toss something in the bed of the truck, that it might fly out if they hit a bump or if the wind hits just right. So 19% admit to littering and 19% believe that accidental littering is inevitable. Another thing that worth noting is that people are admitting to pulling over on the side of the road to let their dogs use the restroom on the side of the road when they're on the highways and not picking up after them and leaving that behind, which we know that's a problem. And then the hauling of materials and not properly securing the bed of the truck or the luggage on the vehicle, whatever it might be, they're admitting that they're not really making absolutely certain that things are secured properly, and that is one of our core messages. We asked about illegal dumping. This is becoming even a bigger issue. It's always been an issue, but it certainly is a growing issue in California. And interestingly, the higher income residents are the ones that admitted to illegal dumping. So that's something that we want to think about, because in the past, we've made assumptions that it's people that don't have as much money because they don't want to have to pay at the dump, but our research is showing that higher income residents are the ones that are admitting to doing a lot of the illegal dumping. The strength in which the public already makes the connection between clean highways and clean waterways was part of what helped us make the decision to choose Protect Every Drop. And it also helped us understand that our core campaign image with the heart showing the connection between the highway and the waterway was the right direction to go. We've just completed, as I mentioned, the Midway study, and 84% are still saying they believe that, that they understand the connection between the highway and the waterway. 95% say that they know that this is encouraging them to maintain their vehicles and not pollute. It's not stopping them at this point. They know that they're not supposed to. But I'll tell you the connection here in just a second. The primary action continues to be not littering. 41% said, yes, we need to not litter. That's our primary action, as compared to 39% from the previous study. And the leaky vehicles went down by 12%. What's interesting is this top message here where it says recent rains and reprieve from the drought-like conditions of 2015-16 has led to substantially relaxed attitudes towards water quality. Throughout the entire Midway study, it was really obvious that they're making this connection between quantity and quality. And when we did not have a lot of quantity, when we were in the heat of our emergency drought, they didn't understand why we were telling them not to pollute, because in their minds, it's not getting into the storm drains anyways because it's not raining. But then when we have a season of rain, substantial rain, they think, oh, well, quality's not a problem because we have so much water now, it doesn't matter. So, they're still coming up with the same conclusion, even though we're in two completely different types of environmental years with water. The more serious the water supply issue is, again, the more likely the campaign messages are to be recalled because they're making this connection between quality and quantity. The perception of the greater water quantity has worsened the public's attention to water quality, setting the campaign back at a disadvantage. And this is what I was just explaining to you, that they're just thinking that, oh, there's so much water, it doesn't matter anymore. We don't need to worry. So that's definitely a perception that's likely hitting statewide, especially in Northern California, where we experience the majority of the overabundance, and it's something that we need to focus on. The recall of the campaign is higher. So when we asked them about Protect Every Drop, the previous campaign, 27% said they'd heard about the campaign before when we had not officially launched the campaign, but now 49% have said that they heard the campaign. So they know it's out there, and they understand there was a connection between those that felt like there was a serious water quality problem were also the ones that were most likely to hear the campaign. So we know that the campaign messages are getting into the community and people understanding it, and they're connecting it to water quality. So we have a pretty substantial campaign that we've developed. We've been working on it since August of 2015. And we have obviously the campaign branding, which we talked about, and you're getting ready to see development of the website, earned media or media relations, social media, public outreach, paid media, partnership development, the research we talked about, and then, of course, a whole series of artwork for the campaign. So there's 7 key behaviors that we started with when the campaign kicked off, and these are the behaviors that would most benefit Caltrans and any type of streets in California if people would take care of these things. Wiping off brake dust to reduce copper and zinc, keeping vehicles clean, washing off the residue, reducing leaky vehicles with regular maintenance, proper disposal of trash and recycling, that includes cigarette butts, tarping and securing your loads, whether it's trash, vegetation, appliances, furniture, whatever that might be, keeping your tires properly inflated because they wear slower, and then it reduces the amount of zinc, which is a very difficult concept for the public to grasp. So we really kind of started with some of the easier behaviors that we wanted changed. And then avoiding pesticides and fertilizers when rain is forecast. Although that doesn't impact Caltrans so much, one of the commitments is to make sure that we have messages that local and regional agencies can also use, and that certainly is one of them. So we're going to take a look at here. This is our primary heart for the Protect Every Drop logo. And for Flight 1, this was what we call kind of our branding flight. We wanted to set the campaign brand, let people know about the website, and have their eyes begin to understand what we're trying to communicate. And that started here with the hearts that I was talking about. Southern California associated more closely with the ocean, and Northern California associated more closely with the delta and rivers and creeks and streams. And so we have slightly different looks for the two of them. But you can see how the highway and the waterways intersect. And it was something that came across in the focus group as very beneficial, and it helped them to understand they truly are connected. Even if there's some distance between them, they touch each other. So we have billboards for Northern California, Protect Every Drop, Clean Water Starts with Clean Highways. We also have it in Spanish. And for Southern California, so you'll notice this as we're going through some of the materials that we have broken it out between the two. We have mall signs and posters. I can just read it briefly. Streams, rivers, lakes, and the ocean. We Californians love our water. But did you know that when it rains, pollutants like trash, auto fluids, and grime gets washed off of our vehicles onto our highways and end up in our waterways? Do your part by keeping your vehicle clean inside and out. Protect what you love. Protect every drop. And remember, clean water starts with clean highways. Something I want to point out in the focus groups is the water boards has been a part of our steering committee, as Anna mentioned. And when we presented the creative concepts to the focus groups, we presented with just Caltrans logo on there. And then we also presented with Caltrans and the water board logo on there. And when they saw the Caltrans logo on there without the water boards, they immediately went to, oh, Caltrans just wants to save money on maintenance. You know, this is just them trying to cut back. They want us to do their job for them. And instead of taking responsibility for their own actions, they automatically pointed to Caltrans and thinking it was a cost-saving measure. When we put the water board logo on there, literally they sat back and they stopped and paused. And then they said, wow, I guess this really is a water issue. This isn't just a maintenance issue. This is truly impacting our water because the water boards is involved. So it was super important to the campaign to legitimize, thank you, the campaign, and help people understand that, that this really is, in fact, a water quality issue and not just a maintenance trash pickup issue for Caltrans. And so the water boards had to go through a whole series of approvals in order to make that official, and they did, and we feel like this has really helped the campaign and the believability of it. CASQA is also one of our partners, as Anna mentioned, and having that support is very important in the campaign as well. So you'll kind of see water boards on everything, CASQA's on some of our outreach materials. So Southern California, mall signs and posters. We had banner ads that ran statewide in English and Spanish. Here's the Southern California. And that's just one sample. We have multiple sizes. We also created a 15-second pre-roll, which is like 15-second video advertising that happens before another video that you would watch. So whether it would be watching a news channel or YouTube or something like that, we made this pre-roll, and part of our campaign included that, and we'll run it for you here.
Highways drain to our waterways. Water is often the setting for our most cherished moments, but remember, highways drain to our waterways. Trash, fluids, and metals like copper from brakes pollute our water. Protect what you love. Protect every drop. This message from Caltrans and the state water boards.
We actually, just a side note, it was kind of fun. We won a one free week advertising at the Arden Mall. They have this big, huge thing that is 2 stories tall, that it's on the back side of the elevator. And so we won this one free week. So this video, we kind of broke it apart and had it running in the Arden Mall. It was really fun to see. It was just bigger than life, and you know, when we were watching it, people would stand around and watch it and interact with it. So it was really fun, and it wasn't cost to the campaign at all. So here's our primary radio spot that we ran for protection.
I love going to the beach.
Yeah, there's nothing better than
A day out at the lake.
Splashing in the waves.
a sunset cruise for 2.
Water is often the setting for our most cherished moments. Fishing.
Or river rafting.
Remember that highways drain to our waterways. Trash, grime, and brake dust end up where we swim, fish, and play, polluting our water. Protect what you love. Protect every drop. This message from Caltrans and the state water boards.
Additionally, you know, infographics are a very easy way to get a message across. More and more, when you take a complicated subject and you break it down for people, it's easy for them to visualize when you're able to connect words with visuals. So we developed this key actions infographic that is our #1 most visited place on the website. We have it out at outreach events, and a lot of our agency partners have adopted this infographic and they use it themselves. It has our 7 key messages across the top. We've created an icon to go with each of those 7 key messages. Those icons are used in earned media or media relation events when we're actually physically out there with the public and the news media and educating them about the different key actions to prevent water pollution. And then also we've included dog poop and illegal dumping and cigarette butts specifically around the bottom here, making sure it's all inclusive of the majority of the pollution prevention behaviors. And then we also developed a stormwater runoff infographic. Many of the runoff graphics that are out there don't include a highway. They just include the waterway. But the highway is very important for people to understand that it's a part of the landscape. And so you'll see here that we have rainy weather and dry weather, and we have the runoff happening, cars and trucks. But we're showing both the highways as well as the streets, helping to, again, make that link that it is all connected and it all impacts the water quality. In Flight 2, we focused on behaviors. So Flight 1, we looked at the core branding element of Protect Every Drop and the heart image. And then leading into Flight 2, we took a look at some of the primary behaviors that we wanted changed, and we developed a campaign around that. It was 70% behavior focused and 30% branding. We didn't want to let go of the branding. Unfortunately, there's just never enough money to do the kind of impact that you'd really want to do with the media statewide, and so we had to find a way to share the two. So the behavior-focused creative looks like this, and we have check your vehicle for fluid leaks, properly dispose of cigarette butts, properly dispose of pet waste, don't leave your load behind, trash your trash, and recycle your recyclables. Originally, we just had trash your trash, but we did have one of our local partner, a stormwater agency, come on board, and they said, you know, it'd be really great to have recycle your recyclables also, not just trash your trash. And we thought, you know, that's a really great addition to the campaign. So that kind of feedback and information to also help local and regional agencies is something that we are encouraging. We want people to call and talk to us about it, and we bring it to Caltrans. And this is just an example of one that came to life because of some of the feedback that we received from a local stormwater agency.
Whether you're on the highway going to the lake, the beach, or wherever,
Properly dispose of cigarette butts in an ashtray or appropriate garbage receptacle. Our highways drain to our waterways. ProtectEveryDrop.com. This message from Caltrans and the State Water Boards. Summer means road trips. The coast, the river, wherever. Properly inflate your tires for safety and to prevent tire wear on the highways. Our highways drain to our waterways. Protect our water. ProtectEveryDrop.com. This message from Caltrans and the State Water Boards. Taking a road trip this summer to the coast, lake, or wherever? Check your vehicle for leaks and fix them before your trip, reducing toxic fluids on highways. Our highways drain to our waterways. ProtectEveryDrop.com. This message from Caltrans and the State Water Boards.
Traveling with your pet this summer? Be sure to properly dispose of their waste. Ew! Bag it up. Throw it away in the garbage. Our highways drain to our waterways. Protect our water. ProtectEveryDrop.com.
This message from Caltrans and the State Water Boards. It's summertime. When headed to the beach, lake, or wherever, properly secure your load. Don't lose it on the highway. Our highways drain to our waterways. Protect our water. ProtectEveryDrop.com. This message from Caltrans and the State Water Boards.
It's vacation time. When you're on the highway, headed to beautiful Cali waters, throw your travel trash where it's supposed to go, in a garbage can. Yeah, our highways drain to our waterways. ProtectEveryDrop.com.
This message from Caltrans and the State Water Boards.
So you can see how easy it is to take each of our core messages and turn it into a 15-second radio spot to play. The radio spots, we worked with some of the different areas where our campaign was running, and we placed more preference on some of the behaviors over others, depending on what the core behaviors were in that region specifically, and we'll show you some examples of that in a few minutes. So Flight 3, we just finished at the end of June. And we added 2 more behaviors to that campaign. One was monitor your tire pressure, and the other one is the use eco-friendly pesticides. And this is an example that we actually work with the Sacramento Stormwater Quality Partnership, and we know that IPM and using less toxic or non-toxic pesticides is a core primary message of the Sacramento Stormwater messages that we've developed. And so they came on as a partner with us, and they've adopted this campaign, and they have placed some media using the Protect Every Drop campaign. And in return, Caltrans put their logo here in Sacramento area on those core messages that related to the Sacramento Stormwater Quality Partnership. So because they came on as a formal partner with us, they got free media placement with their logo on it in our region, and they get to take credit for it in their annual report. And so that's just one of the ways that the partnerships can develop between Caltrans and a local and regional stormwater agency. So we've developed a bunch of tip flyers. We've got 7 different languages here. All of them have language on one side and then English on the other side. So we have English, Spanish, Hmong, Punjabi, Russian, Chinese, and Korean. They're all located on the ProtectEveryDrop.com website. And if you also would like them for yourself, we're happy to give you a sample stash, and then you also can have the file to print yourself if you like. And these all if it's something that you wanted to adopt, we'd be happy to provide it to you, and you could put your logo on there. So we also developed a pledge. One of the hard things is the governor put a halt on any type of giveaways when we're at outreach events. And this was done several years ago when he was working to really tighten up the budget. And when, I'm assuming we've all here done some sort of outreach event when we've been trying to communicate with the public. We have a table and we want to engage. And usually when you're giving away free things, it encourages people to come to your booth. We were finding that we would have to kind of go and reach out to people and bring them in and draw them in and talk to them about what we were doing because we didn't have anything to give away. And one of the social science studies that we really think strongly of suggests that doing a pledge helps encourage people to make those decisions for themselves. If you make a pledge and if you make a conscious decision to do something and you sign it, then you are far more likely to act on that behavior because you believe in it that strongly. And so we developed a pledge sticker. It says just a little bit about what the campaign's about. It says clean waterways start with clean storm drains start with clean highways start with me. And then the pledge there are 7 core behaviors on it that they can sign. And then they have a sticker that you could place on your car or whatnot. It's the kind that comes off without leaving any residue on your vehicle. And so that's something that we printed a lot of, and it is used in our outreach. And it's very interesting to see people come up to the booth and ask what this is. We explain what it is. They look at it, they read it, and then they ask me, well, can I have this? And absolutely, take it, it's yours. And so we're finding that this pledge has been very helpful across all of our outreach efforts. We developed other signage. Please properly dispose of your pet waste. We participated in Petapalooza in Citrus Heights. There's about 5,000 people there. And as a part of one of our outreach events, we had all the trash cans wrapped with please properly dispose of your pet waste. We had signage out there. We had a booth out there. So we were able to create custom messaging and materials to relate to the event that we were at, and it was super successful. Our media markets, our primary markets are based off of the primary watershed areas that Caltrans is focusing on based on impaired watersheds. And so you can kind of see where the color is, the green and the red up top, and then a little bit down below is where Caltrans is focusing their efforts on. But we also wanted to make sure that we reached other areas of the state and not to leave, we don't want to leave everybody out. So San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Sacramento were our primary media areas where the large part of the paid media budget was allocated. And then the tier 2 markets, Fresno, Chico, Monterey, Eureka, and Bakersfield had some radio, some mall signs, and some digital as well, but not at the same level as the tier 1 markets. Also, throughout the Central Valley, we included Spanish radio stations, so we made sure that there were English and Spanish spots out there running. We had 3 flights. Looks like this shifted a little bit. Sorry about that. The first flight, as I mentioned, was branding. The second 2 flights were 70% behavior, 30% branding. We've done 3 full flights so far. We were on radio, so both with on-air radio stations and streaming, but also RDS, which is the, for anyone who has I think it's a 2013 or newer vehicle, on your radio interface, it actually has the name of the song and the station that you're listening to and who the artist is. During commercial breaks, they were running Protect Every Drop messages across every car statewide that had this capability. We got millions of free impressions from our media partner by implementing this. We had billboards, mall signs. Comcast Sportsnet was a really nice partnership that we developed with the A's and the Giants. And if you're watching it on TV, the Protect Every Drop logo would come up. And so a lot of people saw that and, you know, call me, oh my gosh, I saw it on the game. That was so cool. So it was a really fun partnership, and just it stood out over other forms of media because it was so unexpected. And then also we had a very comprehensive digital online advertising plan with pre-roll streaming radio and web banner ads. So for earned media, that's media relations. When we involve the news media, we have had quite a few media opportunities throughout the last 2 years. We've developed the messages, the media kit materials, all those are available for you if you wanted to take a look at them. And then we've been working with the Caltrans district statewide to see who also wanted to implement an earned media effort in their area. So we recently completed a Tarp Your Load press event for Caltrans District 3. They're located in Marysville. They were finding that that people going to the dump, they just weren't tarping their loads properly. They weren't securing what was in the backs of their trucks or on their vehicles, and so they really wanted to get that message out there. It's been a problem. So we partnered with Recology and local CHP. We had really great news coverage, both from the Sacramento market as well as the Appeal Democrat, which is Marysville's local newspaper. And it's too bad this shifted a little bit, but essentially what Caltrans did is our team worked with Caltrans District 3, and we put the entire event together for them. We pitched the media, we drafted the press releases. Caltrans always reviews and approves everything that's done before it's released. And we helped to set this whole thing up. And it's one of the activities that we're encouraging local and regional agencies to work with us on, as well as their local districts, to get the earned media coverage. We also just implemented one with District 12. They really liked what Marysville did, and Marysville is obviously kind of inland, whereas District 12, we're in Orange County, and we were able to set up a press conference that overlooked the beach and the ocean, and really focused on talking to residents about making sure all your vacation items are properly secured. So, they find everything from beach towels and floaties and umbrellas, whatever it might be, laying all over the place. And so we had a really nice little setup right in front of the beach there, and had really nice news coverage as well. We have an active social media program going on. Caltrans headquarters has their own Facebook page and Twitter account, but we provide posts for them to supplement in their regular news feed. And we've been doing this now for a couple years. We also have some set social media messages and images that we use for partners. So sometimes, like, we work with one of our partners, you'll see here briefly, is DMV. They're constantly looking for new material to put out on their Facebook page. There's only so much you can say at any given time, and looking for fresh material is always really nice, especially when it's another public agency. And so we're able to provide them with a bunch of social media messages and pictures that they could post on their website, post on their Facebook feed and Twitter, and that's worked out really well for a lot of the agencies that we have been working with, both for Caltrans headquarters. We get lots of people, but also for our partners. We've had over 121,000 Facebook impressions, and this is just kind of pulling out the posts. We do one, sometimes two posts a week. That's included with headquarters. And then Twitter, 122,000 Twitter engagements. This most current fiscal year campaign, we had over 288,000 impressions on Facebook, and then Twitter was 204. So the engagement with our posts have increased dramatically. Some of that is because the messages, we refine our messages based on the types of results that we're seeing in social media, and also some of it is that we're really focusing on behavior, and not just a campaign branding message anymore, but really focusing on the behaviors that we want people to take. Some of the core messages are very hard for people to comprehend, and as I mentioned, we've been developing infographics to help break things down a little bit easier. One of the messages that people had a difficult time understanding for two reasons. One, because of the drought, they were told not to wash their car. Well, that doesn't work for stormwater agencies, where we want the pollution to be recycled, captured and recycled. So we went out there just trying to explain to people that you need to wash your car. It gets the pollutants off of your vehicle. Use a facility that captures and recycles the water, so the water's not getting into the environment and it's being used again. So we just kind of explained that in the clean car infographic. The second infographic we did was for illegal dumping. Again, it's a major issue. So we talk about kind of the primary illegally dumped items, and then how they should be properly disposed. And the metal matters, this one is still in progress. It's not complete yet, but it's near complete. And this one is focused on heavy metals. Again, another difficult topic for people to understand. The heavy metals one, we will also probably break that down into some of the individual metals that are a problem. This one's kind of overarching, and then we'll take a look at zinc and copper and lead and some of the other ones, and break it down further for people. They get really good feedback on social media, and then also can be used in outreach events. The website homepage, we are maintaining the website. We're always looking to improve the website. If you have any feedback, please let us know. But the pledge was so successful handing out at events that we also decided to do an electronic pledge that's on the website. So somebody could go onto the website, click it, make the pledge, and they can even share it on their social media feeds that they pledge to protect every drop. We make sure that all of our partners are listed on the website. So we have business partners, we have government partners, and this is just an example of what that might look like. So we include your logo, a little write-up of who you are and why protecting stormwater is important to you. And we keep that on our Facebook page, and then we also include partners in our social media feed. Since March of 2016, we have 92,000 page visits. 80% of visitors are coming from mobile sites. And so what we're finding is when there's a campaign running, the majority of people are coming from a mobile site. And then if the campaign is not on air and they're just accessing it because they want to get some information, they're doing it through desktop. So during times when the campaign's not running, the desktop use goes up. But it just shows how important it is for local agencies to make sure that your website is mobile ready. It's super critical. We built this website with the intention of making sure that it was easily accessible through a mobile site. So I would encourage you to do that as well. The top downloads was the key action infographic that we mentioned to you, the runoff infographic, and the radio spots, and then the tip cards. So far from the first flight, we're still waiting for results from the second flight, but we had over 32,000 click-throughs from our digital campaign to our website. So it was normally with click-throughs, 0.02, 0.03 is considered pretty good, and we exceeded what would be considered average. Partnerships, CBS is our primary media partner. They're the ones who are able to get us so much added value in what we're doing. They've been fantastic in stepping up and even taking on new projects that we've asked them to do that aren't a part of the proposal that they agreed to do. So they're going over and beyond for us. Outfront Media is out-of-home advertising. Adopt a Beach, I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. It was kind of a mutual sponsorship with Adopt a Beach in Southern California and Recology. Nonprofits, we're working with Sacramento Splash. They do education to children about water quality, vernal pools, good bugs, and other animals that live in our aquatic areas. And Marin Clean Highways, we'll talk about that briefly in a second. And then we worked with Save the Bay on Bay Day. They had their first annual Bay Day last year where they wanted people to just start understanding and grasping and loving the Bay. And so it was a perfect opportunity for us to partner with them and be in on the ground level because part of loving the Bay is keeping the Bay clean and pollution-free. We have a bunch of government agencies that we're working with, the Sacramento Stormwater Quality Partnership, state parks, the Contra Costa Clean Water Program, the County of Santa Cruz, County of Monterey, DMV, Fresno Metropolitan Flood Control District, the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. We are in the process of building these local and regional partnerships, and our line is open. We want to continue reaching out and building and linking arms with our local stormwater partners statewide. So for Sacramento Stormwater Quality Partnership, just as an example, I showed you the billboard that Caltrans, one of the things that they did to contribute towards the partnership at no cost to the Sacramento Stormwater Quality Partnership, they also adopted the campaign and they ran a Trash Your Trash campaign. We took a look at some of the hot spots where the most highly littered areas in the Sacramento area, and we were able to place, they're called wild boards, and essentially they're vinyl banners. Then we work with a company that contracts with the property owners, and so we're able to stick little billboards in places that have the most litter. We're also doing the same thing with an illegal dumping campaign. And so this is one of the ways that we were able to extend the message. It's a little bit difficult to see, but you could see that Caltrans and the Water Board logos on there, as well as the SSQP logo. And then it's kind of fun. They had they had about 10 extra signs and an area that they had already rented out. So there's a whole corner in Natomas in North Sacramento is completely covered with Trash Your Trash, and that was something that we were able to secure as added value as well. The Contra Costa Clean Water Program, they're completely adapting the campaign, adopting the campaign and adapting it to make it work for them. Caltrans's logo, our tagline is clean water starts with clean highways, and they're changing it to clean creeks start with clean streets. And so they're able to take our campaign brand and just slightly modify it to fit their region. Contra Costa is just full of, it's like a highway of creeks there. So we have, we're in the middle of developing a plan for them. And two of the concepts that we're looking at is they have a litter travels and pesticides lingers campaign, and they wanted us to find a way to incorporate Protect Every Drop, but maintain those campaign themes that they had. And so these are the examples that we're providing to them. This is contracted, some of this is contracted separately, and some of it is being covered by Caltrans. So each one is on an individual basis that we would work together and figure out how this partnership would work and how it would be executed. Adopt a Beach, last year they had 75 trash barrels wrapped. This year it was 80 trash barrels wrapped. And we wrap them, usually it's like April to September time period. So in the peak beach going season, we've averaged over 500,000 views so far in our trash wraps. We do have some stickers that we keep as a part of outreach. If you're interested in wrapping a trash can near your office or anything like that, let us know, and we're happy to provide one to you. And we can also give you the artwork if you want to do more than just the one. We worked with Marin Clean Highways with the Tarp Your Load event. They do this every year in partnership with Caltrans District 4. And we helped develop a Tarp Your Load banner and a flyer for them. And we had a booth set up at their county dump, and they had hundreds of trucks come through, and all the trucks that weren't properly tarped. A team of people walked up to the truck, handed them information. Marin Clean Highways got tarps donated, and so they're able to receive our Tarp Your Load message, clean stormwater message, and also get a free tarp. Here's some pictures. Other outreach efforts that we're doing, we do 5 big events a year, so concerts and things of that nature, like the Petapalooza I talked about, where there's 5,000 people. There's also one-on-one outreach. We call them van hits. So where the radio station is, they're out there, and then they'll bring our materials, and they will hand our materials out. And then Eco Media is something we'll go in a little bit deeper here in a second. But it's a fantastic organization that is through CBS, and they work with nonprofits. It's at no cost to Caltrans. It's just a part of the campaign as added value. The first thing that we did is we worked with East Bay Regional Parks, and we did a cleanup at Crab Cove in Alameda County. Some of the large events, we did the Manhattan Beach Earth Day, Bay Area Live, San Diego's Chili Cook-Off, and we're not just there with a booth. We actually have banners and signage out and about. There's radio spots promoting that we're there and encouraging people to come. And so it's much more than just showing up and being there. There's a promotional value that happens around those events. And if we're in your area, you're welcome to join us as well. We keep all of the events updated on our website. This year we're looking at a Filipino festival, the Petapalooza, again, it's been successful every year. Eat, See, and Hear. Those aren't all secured yet, but these are the kinds of events that we look at every year to have participation. One-on-one events, we're charged with doing 50 events per year, but we've already done over 200 events. So we've exceeded the amount of outreach events and handing out materials. I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of things that we've handed out to the public. It's really been exciting. Eco-media, here's just a little bit more information. So I mentioned the Crab Cove cleanup. We involved family and children. We had Caltrans District 4 employees come out and participate with the cleanup event. They videotape the whole thing, and then they provide us with a video afterwards. They contact the news media, and so it's comprehensive. It's not just we just show up and do a cleanup. There's other elements around it that help to really expand the value of the project. And then the second one, where's the other one? Oh, there it is. So the second one that we're working on for this year, it's happening late summer, is we are building a living stream at the Environmental Charter School in Inglewood. So we wanted to make sure we had something in Northern California and something in Southern California. So looking ahead in 2017-18, we're always looking for ways that we can improve the website. So again, please let us know if you find anything. We are really excited to be developing an activity book for children. This will be something that's very simple, something they can color and do, but a lot of districts are looking for things for children to do when they're at events. So are we. We also can put it on the website. We will work with local restaurants that are locally owned that maybe we can leave them behind there for them to hand out to those that visit their restaurants. I have children if they don't have their own coloring activities for the kids to do. It's for elementary age kids, so kind of that 4th and 5th grade level. There's word searches and we're taking our infographic and saying, what's different between the two, and just really fun little activities for the kids. So that'll be nice to have, and that'll be done here in the next couple months. We're continuing to expand partnerships with local and regional agencies across the state. We have our next paid media effort that's happening. Will run for a few weeks in the fall, and then also again for about a month in the spring. So the campaign is starting to slow down a little bit, but we're doing what we can to keep the outreach efforts happening throughout the end of the contract. We'll continue with our social media messages and all of our outreach events. We're maintaining our 5 events a year, the 50 one-on-one. Something that we are working on is Swimmable California Day. That's happening here in a couple weeks, week and a half. And we did it last year. It was really successful. It was down at Discovery Park in Sacramento. We had a couple booths out there. The radio station was out there, and we had great interaction from the public that was just playing down there at the beach next to the river. And then I mentioned the living stream in Southern California with those kids. And, you've kind of heard this throughout our presentation, but one of the core things that Caltrans wanted was for this campaign to be available for others to use. So it is available. The native files are available at no charge. There are things that we can do and work with you to help you execute as a part of the campaign. And we're also able to share our materials with you so you can customize and use it locally. So we really encourage you to do that. There's messaging opportunities. We can share collateral. There's outreach opportunities that we can work on together, in addition to having full access to all the creative that's been developed over the last 2 years. Monica, wave. So Monica is the one who helps us to coordinate all of that. Her email address is listed up on the presentation. Please feel free. We both have cards here if you're interested in partnering with Caltrans. Some of our partners just want to work with us and really like the tip cards. Other agencies are fully immersed and adapting the campaign to work for their area. So we are open to working with you in whichever capacity is needed. And now it's just open for Q&A. If anyone has any questions regarding the campaign, the materials that we've developed, or what we've done, or where we're going. Anna, you want to come up here with me? Get any emails? No? Oh.
Thank you. This is a very good program, but I was wondering, do you do anything similar with respect to, well, I think in debris and all public safety, you know, plugging of storm drains and culverts and whatnot, which is a public safety problem?
We have not, from this campaign's point of view, focused on the system itself. It's been about keeping the water clean. You want to talk about what Caltrans does regarding actually unclogging the
Right.
drains?
So as part of, Caltrans' continuing efforts to, yes, keep our highway system clean, there are, the different programs that the department participates in, like, the Adopt a Highway, that's one effort. But there's also routine maintenance that happens, throughout our 50,000 plus lane miles that we have out there. So maintenance is always, out there trying to keep it clean, clearing anything that gets identified or reported on our highways as, a safety concern, and those get addressed immediately.
Other questions? Yes. She asked if there was a campaign suited for children. So the Protect Every Drop campaign is the campaign that we're doing across the board, but we are doing the activity book for children that has some of the children's messages in there. Yes, we understand that it's important for kids to learn these behaviors when they're young, because then they're far more likely to do it as they grow up. So it's also where our partnership with Sacramento Splash comes in. There's other organizations like that statewide that we would love to partner with, and they're ones that actually get in the classroom and they incorporate our messages into their messages, making sure that it's a part of their education program.
All right. Well, with that, I'd like to thank both of you very much for coming out. And for more information, go to protecteverydrop.com.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Everybody was handed a form. If you want to pass it down, we'll collect it from you. If you did not receive it, please let us know.